Now, what does it sound like? Just trying anything at this point. Please? Now, what does it sound like? Oh, okay. Just trying anything at this point. Well, this works. I might have a broken microphone. That's the case. Why did that happen? Anyways, it's working. So we're here. We're going to talk some football and some other sports because we can. And that's going to be in the back of my mind now the whole time. But whatever. 12:15, we're starting. What is up, everyone? This is Curtis Collings. Welcome to the Sports Hour. Microphone here. We might as well just put it away. We're using the MacBook microphone, but hey, it works. So whatever. We make do. We make do with what we have. So, let's get into it. The Panthers. Preseason action started. We won't talk about the score, and we won't really talk about anything that happened after the second quarter. Not really worth it to talk about because, stuff happened. If you didn't know, we lost like 30-10. I think that was the score. I couldn't be bothered to actually find the real score because all I care about was the first and second drive because that is when Bryce Young was playing and not Andy Dalton or Jake Plummer, one of the two. Which, side note, Jack Plummer, whichever one the one currently playing is and not the old one, he can ball out. Last year in the preseason when he was a true rookie, I saw him live in Buffalo, and he actually played really well. The Panthers won. They beat Buffalo in that game. Whoever wants to find the score of that, you go right ahead. So, they could play. They played like, dog. They played awful. They couldn't get any third down conversions to go, and that was the number one issue I found just on the stat sheet and just looking at the offense. After the starters went out, it was tough. I thought guys like Trevor Etienne and guys like Jimmy Horn Jr. were going to get more opportunity. I guess they didn't. That was the number one thing that disappointed me. It is the first preseason game, and I guess those young guys will get more and more action as time passes, but that first game, I wanted them to go off. Luckily, though, there was a rookie that was quite good for us, and of course, the jersey just came in today. Thank you to my father. Teteroa McMillan, Nalo, so good. It just seems like that is what he was promised to be, except for that one drop in the end zone, but we'll get to that later. That's, I saw one of the craziest stats. If we're talking about Teteroa McMillan, his Arizona Wildcats, the college team that he played for, was not the greatest. 2 seasons before, it was okay. Teteroa McMillan, he came in as a true freshman, put up, I think, over 700 yards, and then in his second season had 1,400 yards on around 90 receptions and had 10-plus touchdowns. In his most recent year of college, the one before we drafted him, he had 1,300, 50-ish, in that range of yards, and only 8 touchdowns on slightly less receptions. The next best player on Arizona didn't even have 300 receiving yards. I mean, he is that good that he was forced to do everything for that team. So, him dropping one pass in the end zone when he wasn't expecting it, I'll give him a break because he's never had a quarterback like Bryce Young before who can actually throw him the ball and, dot up defenses like he did. That second drive, the first drive, whatever, with 3-0 or 3-0 run, which Chuba Hubbard, 5-yard run, started off the drive. I quite liked. We love Chuba Hubbard around here, our Canadian boy. And then we incomplete pass, which sucked. Or it was a complete pass and then an incomplete pass to Chuba Hubbard, which was just behind him, which was too bad. But for the day, he only missed 2 throws. So that was one of them. We 3-0'd. They didn't score either because the defense looked great on that first 3-and-out. Because that wasn't the one we forced the turnover on downs, but on the first 3-and-out, Shooter Sanders didn't even look that bad. It was more so just, I really like the new additions to the pass rush. I think Bobby Brown looks great. I think DJ Wonnum is taking a step up, which, I mean, it's preseason. We'll see him against, like, regular starters and see how that statement, ages. But I really think that he looked great in that game, and he just looked athletic. He looked like he had it, which he didn't at the start of last year, which, Panthers fans, we all noticed. The run stopping and the D-line was such an issue. Turk Wharton, wish he performed better. He was our lowest graded player for PFF. So, preseason, it's game 1. I don't hold that against him. So, I don't really mind that. Not really the biggest of deals, if we're being honest, with each other. But the key points, the key people that I want to talk about, thank you, Austin, are Nick Scorton, because he looks amazing. Oh my goodness. And then a little bit of Princely. Princely made some big plays. We'll look at that later. I got one highlight of Princely, but Nick Scorton. Man, can this guy ball. Oh, I think we got a steal. I think this guy's first-round talent, and he's going to prove it in the regular season here. It's just the effort. It's everything. He's got the it factor, and it's really hard to, take that away from him. So, it factor Nick Scorton on defense, mucking it up, looking great. DJ Wonnum, again, I have to give him a special mention because he's not a guy I really liked last season. And I thought he was a guy that was going to get phased out, and I don't think he wants to get phased out. So, we will accept that. And then, of course, we get the ball back. And this is when Bryce cooks. This is when we get a 30-yard dot to Tetero and McMillan. It's stuff like this that I've never seen before in my years of being a Panthers fan. Never seen something like this before. I mean, Sam Darnold was able to throw the ball really well. Baker wasn't very... I don't know what happened. I really don't get, other than coaching, what happened to Baker here. But those guys were able to throw a ball well. Who were they throwing it to? DJ Moore. He used to do stuff like this. But it didn't feel as special. It didn't feel the same when DJ Moore did it versus that catch that Tetero and McMillan made. DJ Moore, more of the speed guy, more of the burns you with the wheels, which we see in Chicago still. I mean, he's still super talented. But that was special. The way Tetero faded towards the middle of the field to give himself more room on the sideline. And then when that throw comes in, I mean, Bryce Young throws that ball. Like, he gives at least 10 yards of run-up for Tetero to get under it and make the catch and give himself that separation. And then the feet-to-eye coordination to make sure he taps both those toes down before he eventually crumbles down in a tackle. I mean, it's that sort of feeling. It's that sort of feeling that makes me like, yeah, that's the offensive rookie of the year. That's O'Roy, hands down, and I'm confident of that. I think he's going to be better than most of the other players in that class. The only guy that's going to really give him a run for his money is a guy like Ashton Genty. I think, of course, Travis Hunter, he could do anything, but he's not going to be as special at one thing, the jack of all trades, master of none. So, Tetero McMillan, that was great. There was also a play where on that throw, he was on the close side of the field. They shaded him up to the far side of the field on the main broadcast camera for another one. I don't know why the defensive back chose to do this, but he backed off. Not smart, because Tetero then ran up, a little cut in, and I swear, there was not a defender within 3 to 5 yards of him. He's just wide open like that. This is not something that Xavier Legette was doing much last year. This is not something... Okay, I'll give it to Thielen. Thielen knows how to get open like this. It feels like Thielen, but in a more athletic, bigger hand, bigger body, player. I mean, doesn't get better than that because Thielen was great for us last year. I mean, 600 yards receiving in his like age whatever season it is. Um, it's crazy to me, wild to me. Um, so we will accept that. We'll take that. We're very happy about that. I mean, I can't say it enough. I think this guy's gonna be the real deal. Um, so, Tyler McMillan makes that catch on the sideline. Chuba Hubbard, of course, continues to be just so excellent. Like, so excellent. Which, huge surprise. I mean, if you told me 2 years ago that this guy was going to be, in my eyes, a top 15 back in the league, I wouldn't have believed you. But then last season happened, of course. We're reaping the benefits of it now. We have a legitimate RB1. He puts us within close range, and then, of course, the touchdown. I mean, this is why we drafted him first overall when we did. Bryce Young, a collapsing pocket, escapes out of it. Field general, directs traffic. He looks like Mahomes when he does the whole, go over there and then throws it. Leads him by a solid 5 yards. Coker gets wide open, and get used to that. Coker is the real deal. If you ask Panthers Twitter, Coker's he's the wide receiver 1. But if you're asking, if you really did look all throughout, Panthers Twitter, they would consensusly, the consensus would be that he is wide receiver 2 right now, over Adam Thielen and over Xavier Legette. This is what everyone is saying, and he keeps proving it. There's no reason to doubt him at this point because of what we'll see later. So keep that in mind. Xavier Legette, your time might be up. It's Jalen Coker season, our UDFA. I really like him, personally, me. Huge fan of Coker. I'm a cokehead, personally, because he's got the best nickname for the fan base in the league. And I know I got a bunch of cokeheads out there with me. So I very intentionally marked this not for kids because, that would have been bad. But, it's necessary. It is necessary to show our love to Jalen Coker. I mean, and then, okay, the other reason I'm going crazy for Jalen Coker is later on in the game when Andy Dalton got in, he threw, I don't know how far it was because it got called back for a 15-yard penalty, but he threw about a 20-yard lob pass. Jalen Coker one-on-one in the slot, throws up one hand and just, like Odell, like a prime Odell Beckham Jr., just snags it. And it's that sort of stuff where it gets the fans convinced that this guy's wide receiver too, including me. I really do think so. So he was great. Really liked that. And then, of course, the defense, Corey Thornton. We did it again. We, as in Dan Morgan, so shout out to the man, did it again. 2 straight years, I hope, we pray, of a UDFA coming into the team and then being a difference maker. Of course, I just gushed about Jalen Coker because, he was that guy for us last year. Had 10 less receiving yards than Xavier Legette in less games because of injury and less opportunity because of being a UDFA. And we see this guy, Corey Thornton, who I have one highlight in particular I'm very excited to watch together, looking like prime Arn Anderson delivering a spine buster. So we'll get to that, but he is our UDFA of the year to keep our eyes on. Panthers fan and Panthers Nation. He's going to be a guy. And I'm really excited about that. So, really, for it being a, let's be honest with each other, shit kicking, 30-10, there's a lot to be excited about. A lot that I'm actually coming away with this, that was a good game. And it wasn't, but I come out of it thinking, yeah, that was actually pretty good for us. Because our backups are probably some of the worst backups in the entire league, so I don't really care about what happens when they're in. We're going to get destroyed when they're in. Which is a problem when we get to the regular season and fatigue sets in, injuries set in, and we have to rely on backups, we're gonna just hope that we avoid the injury bug this year. Knock on wood. So, yeah, there's a lot to take away from this game. That's good. The one thing I will take away from it that is just an objective negative: the special teams. A muff punt by Trevor Etienne. Am I even saying the right guy? Hold on. There's two Etiennes in the league. And if I've been saying Travis this whole time. I know I have. And if it's Tyler that I'm referring to, then I'm gonna be mad at myself. Okay, now it's Trevor. Yes. Close call. Close call. But I was correct this whole time. So Trevor Etienne, he muffs a punt. I'm so relieved that, again, I know for a fact I'm going to get it wrong so many times throughout this season. And I better be called out on it because I deserve to be if I get it wrong. It's the only way of learning is being wrong. So we'll get there. Trevor Etienne muffs a punt. Not a fan of that. Not good. That was how the Browns got on the board first because they started their drive on the 4-yard line, which is pretty helpful, if I don't say. And then the field goal kicking, not great, and it's continued to be a theme in practice. A tweet just came out today. I wish I remember who tweeted it. It's one of the beat writers for the Panthers, one of the good ones. And they said that he went 2 of 5 or 3 of 5 on the skinny pole. On the skinny poles, and the ones that missed, I think it was 2 of 5 because 3 missed, and the 3 that missed wouldn't have hit on a regular uprights, let alone the skinny uprights. Which is alarming. And his longest one was 50-ish yards. So, a little alarming, a little scary there. Because that was Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm pretty sure. Ryan Fitz. I don't remember Fitzpatrick exactly. But he might not make the team. So it might not matter. Which is disappointing because he was a really good college kicker. And I thought he had a chance. But right now, our field goal kicking situation looks bad. Our punting situation, I mean, it might matter. I promise you, there's going to be a time this season where punting is going to matter, and we don't even know who that is. It was Johnny Hecker last year. He's gone, I'm pretty sure. So, special teams is up in the air. The only part of special teams that I really trust is Jay Jansen. 1, because he has the show where he talks to the players in the cart, and 2, because he's been with the team for like 16 seasons, like 16, 17 years. So, our long snapper, the only guy I can trust on special teams. Because, Trevor Etienne, that scared me a bit. And Jimmy Horn, again, these guys, I want them to be explosive. I want them to come out and show me why fans are hyped about them and why the coaching staff is, gushing about them. But we'll save that for the next game. And what I feel like we should do now is go ahead and look at some stuff on Twitter. Because I bookmarked, that's how we say that. I bookmarked a lot of stuff from that first game and some stuff from the Panthers training camp that I feel like we should all look at together. Give you guys a little more understanding. And as someone who has lived, eat, sleep, breathe these Panthers for the last month or so and has been keeping up with them at an unhealthy level. I mean, I've been watching the Tedero McMillan vlogs that he posts on YouTube. My Twitter is absolutely filled with Panther stuff. And maybe it's stuff that you don't get to see. And this is all going to be stuff that I feel like you deserve to see. Really. So, if I want to take it away, which I do, we're going to do some Panthers Twitter time. So, starting it off, there's going to be a little bit of there is going to be a thread that we're going to look at first. And of course, I want to thank everyone who supplies these tweets because this wouldn't be possible without you guys. The Panthers community is awesome. I mean, one of the best that I've ever seen. And I've been around Twitter for a while. So here's our starting point. That just reset us to the top. It's not that many, so we'll get there. All right. Here we go. So first things first, shout out to Edgar Salmingo Jr. This guy's been incredible on Twitter. Please go follow him if you haven't. He broke down the first game. Here's that Tedero McMillan catch that I was talking about earlier. So, bottom of your screen, Bryce drops back, throws it now. Catch made. That's special. That's special. Tell me you've seen something like that before in a Panthers jersey. And I'll call you a liar because no way. That's a special play. There was some penalties going on in the game. If you look at the top of your screen here, hold. Oh well. We're going to be talking about the middle linebackers quite a lot because we play in a 3-4. We have two middle linebackers, one of them being Wallace, and then the other one being, of course, Roseboom. So, Roseboom, the man that got held on that play. But here we are, Corey Thornton, Arn Anderson, spine buster on the turf, get down. I mean, this is what we're here for. This is what Panthers football looks like. Oh, again, I want to go over it again because they showed us so many different replays of it. Boom! I mean, it's just fun to watch. This is the type of stuff that all regular season, give that to me. Give that to me, Corey Thornton. Of course, we also got DJ Wonnum. This is what I was talking about, gushing about him earlier. He was so good at breaking through the line. Not quite as the nose, but just off center. They don't show a replay, so he's going to be on that line there, on the bottom of your screen, and gets through. Not quite the most bottom guy. He's not an edge rush guy. He's on that line, and he just digs through the trenches. Very impressive stuff. And here is the touchdown. So excited. So excited for this. All year this is going to happen. And teams are going to be crying because they don't know what to do. They do not know what to do when Bryce Young decides to roll out of the pocket and create opportunity. Look at this view. Collapsing around him, and it does not matter. There's not many quarterbacks, I feel like, that can do that to the level that Bryce does. Of course, this is against backups. This is preseason. A lot of these guys might get cut. Who knows? But as an individual, on an individual level, this is special stuff. And then Nick Gordon. Oh, he's so good. He's so much fun. So what you're going to be looking at here is the man that made that tackle. When it replays, he drops back into coverage and then attacks as soon as he sees that pass goes out. So you watch him at the top of your screen on the line. Drop back, rush. Such a smart play by a rookie playing in his first ever preseason game. And then the muff punt. I don't want to look at this too much. This was unfortunate. It makes me sigh. Because that sucks. Rico Dowdle here. The ball hits the turf, but they don't review it, so it's a catch. And catches are great. If this is a guy that could come in and save a drive just in one play, then I will like him all regular season. And that's all it takes, really. Just as long as we're winning, really. There's a sack. We don't need to see a sack. And then we'll finish off here that I got very excited seeing this live. I thought we were about to get a safety on Shadur Sanders, but he has the wherewithal to get out of there and, actually get a completion downfield, which was very impressive. But you see 2 rushes right up the middle on that. They just killed that line. And I said it before when I was talking about Tedero McMillan, but as a Panthers fan, not something I've really seen before. Of course, we have Derek Brown, who was fantastic for us, and I got to thank him forever for that. Missed last season, but he's going to come back this year and be excellent again. I hope, but this many guys all at once being this dominant, it's going to be a fun regular season. I promise it's going to be a fun regular season. As, of course, we keep scrolling along here. This was more defensive work by Nick Scorton. Number 11 on him. Could give up easily here, but doesn't. And actually is the man to force him out of bounds for a negative gain of yards. And then you don't see at the end there, but Coach Canales gives him the love he deserves because look at the hustle. Look at the hustle. Oh my goodness. And of course, in this moment, I gotta say, Shooter Sanders, he did good. He played really good. I liked watching him play football. I thought he was entertaining. I thought he moved around well. There was a few mistakes he made, but every quarterback makes mistakes. Even Bryce Young made mistakes. So I thought he played a really good game. So shout out to Shooter Sanders. There's been some Browns fans I've seen in Panthers spaces that are absolutely toxic. But more often than not, they're Browns fans and we're Panthers fans. So we've both been through a lot. And you guys deserve something like this. You guys deserve an actual star quarterback. And then, of course, here's our Coker highlights. If you look at from the slot, Andy Dalton gets him. I mean, these are not plays that normal wide receivers make. This is a special play. And this is a guy that I feel like if given opportunity, will take that opportunity. And I'm so upset that this got called back because that was one of the more special plays of his career so far. And here we go. Now we're going to have some fun because we're looking at the nose tackles of the team. We're looking at Bobby Brown here, who played really exciting and gave us a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism as we make this bigger. He's going to be, I'm pretty sure, number 97, right up the gut there. Or he's number 99. I can't remember. I think it's 97 because 97 is the guy that goes off in all of these clips. And I promise you, if 97 is DJ Wenham, then he's made me an even bigger fan. And we're actually going to fact check that as we speak. Now, DJ Wenham's 98. Bobby Brown is number 97. So, no, huge fan of Bobby Brown. Really big fan of what he brought. And if we get that 97-98 connection with him and DJ Wenham both playing good this year, man, sky is the limit for that D-line. Give it one more watch there. Number 97 breaks through. Just so easy, too. And this is where I have to give Shooter Sanders his respect. Because the fact he doesn't take any sacks in these clips and still gets completions off with that pressure in his face, it's very impressive work that he's putting in here. I just wanted to watch it again for Shooter Sanders because I respect it. That's a great play. And then our last play that we're going to look at from Big 97, big addition from the Rams. Absolutely blowing up that run. And this is the stuff. This is the stuff that gets you excited. That you should be excited about. I mean, I'm excited no matter what. We could go 1-16 and I could be excited. But, this makes me even more. This makes me just... I'm excited. Here's some more scoring work. This is... I'm enlarging this because this is... Okay, maybe not that big. Maybe not that big. Maybe we'll just leave it this big. Whoops. But I really it's a minute highlight tape of just a special player. You can see him, okay, on the far. He lines up out there, which I didn't realize how far out he actually lines up. He's that guy on the far right, white sleeve on his arm, attacking that big right tackle, pushing him all the way back to the quarterback. This is the stuff that's going to get him paid eventually, a lot of money, because it's ferocious. It's so good. It makes me really excited. And again, it's a minute cut up of plays that Shooter Sanders handles really well. That's the other downside to this is, yes, Nick Scorton is a beast and he's demolishing this O-line. but there's a lot of plays where Shadur escapes him and makes a play. And I gotta respect that, but I also gotta worry a little bit that there might be growing pains with the whole, chasing and attacking. But we'll find out. Of course, season's gonna be long. Preseason's even gonna be long. I want regular season already, but I know we still have 3 more weeks of preseason. But yeah, just watching his domination is really fun. And speaking of him, we got his PFF grade. It was 91.8, which was one of the highest PFF grades in the league for that week. A sack, 2 pressures, a couple tackles for loss, a 90.6 pass rush grade, and a 28% win rate. These are incredible numbers. And then if we look up here at some of the highest rated players, highest graded rookies from yesterday's game, shout out Max Chadwick, you got number 1, Nick Gordon. And then, of course, Carson Schweissen. We're going to do this. We're going to get it. Schweisinger also played phenomenal, which was very noticeable. And the broadcast also told us to notice him. So there you go. As we continue on, we look at more PFF grades. Of course, Icky was really good in that game. Same with Bryce Young, as we all know. And shout out to TJ Luther. He was the guy that went off when a lot of people stopped watching. And then, of course, Jalen Coker down there, 74.5. I feel like it deserved to be higher, but I don't know how they do their grades. I just know that there's a number, and if it's high, it's good. So, 74. It's not that low, if we're being honest. So I'll take it. Again, shout out to Edgar. And then here we go. There's a reason why it cuts off where it does. He drops it. And this is what I was talking about with not playing with good quarterbacks and not playing in good offenses. I promise you that Teteroa was not ready for this ball. And if the clip continued on, you see him tap his chest and throw a thumbs up because he knew that was a perfect ball. Look at the anticipation. But no catch. This is not something I'm worried about. This is actually something that gets me excited. And a lot of other fans excited too, clearly, because in the regular season, after these guys know each other for months, this is going to be automatic. It's going to be automatic. As another look here at that Jalen Coker touchdown. I love this view because look how easy Coker gets open at the end of that play, and look how seamlessly Bryce rolls out. And if he really wanted to, he could have burned that guy, but he slows down because he knew the smart play. And then one last look, because I really do I want to look at Coker here. Look at him in the end zone. Not a chance he was going to get covered on that play. He was so open and just made the defense look foolish. Now, Princely, this is the one highlight I have of him. It was more of the Nick Gordon show, but he was quite good. If we see him on the left there, he absolutely demolishes that left tackle, gets right past them. I know it's a screenplay, so the guards are shifting, but he's trying to block him. It's not like he's one of the pull guards. He's one of the blocking guards trying to stop him from getting a sack, and just close. If it wasn't a screenplay, that is a sack every day of the week. And here's some of the lowlights. Shout out for the For Panthers only podcast. So Trevin Wallace plays this great, number 32. It's number 56. It jumps up onto the running back there and just eats dirt. I don't know what he was doing. Why does he attack the running back like that? You see him on the right side of your screen, attacks, comes up, and just, did he think it was a run? I don't know. A great recovery by Wallace here. Him jumping up into the play to give Shadur Sanders no option other than to throw it way over his lengthy frame. It saved them there. It saved them a first down and, continuing to play defense. But it'll get better. Now, you might be questioning, hey Curtis, we've watched a lot of highlights. And Xavier Legette has not come up once. Why? What's happening? Well, Panthers fans, I'm pausing this. I don't want to keep looking at this low light. That's fine. Panthers fans, we all know that Xavier Legette had to work on his hands this offseason. There was a lot of drops that could have been catches. Um, he was good. He was good. But he caught with his body too much and dropped a couple passes. Not as bad as Jonathan Mingo, but still not great. Better than I would have ever done. I'll say that. But not quite that level you need from your first round wide receiver. So, offseason, all I read, all offseason by Shania Quick, I think that's her first name. She's an awesome reporter for the Panthers. And other reporters was that he's been working nonstop on the jugs machine, getting his hands right, getting his hands ready. He also put some off-season videos out of him boxing. So we'll get to that. Again, the NFL showed Coker and Bryce Young some love here. 2.8K likes. I'll take that for my Panthers. Look at the top of your screen. Top of the screen, top left of the screen, you see number 17. Give him the right, give him the left, give him the right. Oh, he's giving him the combo meal. Oh no, he goes for the double leg and doesn't work out for him. He doesn't have the leverage. Let's get a different view of that. Let's get a new view. Right hand, left hand. Combo work. Shoots the double. Doesn't work out, but I like it. I like it, Xavier Legette. Those are those hands that I want to see catch footballs, not punch guys in helmets. But, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And the guy that he chose to do it to is a dick. That guy threw footballs at Chuba Hubbard's head at practice or something like that, I read, and has a long history of just being a troublemaker. So, shout out Legette. And then that's it for the game highlights. This happened very early in the game, so that's why we don't get any Legette in-game highlights, because he wasn't really in-game at all. And we'll finish it off with something from training camp the other day. Jalen Coker looking like Randy Moss. I mean, this is why I'm so excited about this guy. Look at that and tell me that's not, special. That's a special catch. I know he's doing it to a Panthers backup player, but it's still, I can't do that. You can't do that. A lot of NFL wide receivers can't do that. And yet Jalen Coker makes that grab. So, that's all for our Panthers Twitter time, because the exciting parts of the game were really only in that beginning. But I did actually have a segment I wanted to show you guys, and it's called Real Questions, Real Answers. So there's an app out there, and it's named Real, and it's quite good. I quite like it. I use it for sports now, for keeping up with everything, and also chatting with other Panthers fans. You could see me on there. Of course, this is me. I am Ice Bryce Season. And so I asked, drop your stat predictions for Bryce. For me personally, going into this year, I have 3,350 yards, 31 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, which I pray is too high. I pray it's under, 10, with 520 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns to go along with it. I think this is pretty realistic. I'm not going crazy high, but I'm not, I think he's going to have a good year. I think this is a very solid season, solid year 3. And so we saw some of these replies. The first reply I got was from BY9 at the bottom there. I'd say 25 to 28 passing touchdowns and 8 to 11 interceptions. Otherwise, looks perfect. Which I respect that. Maybe a little less, on the passing touchdown, because we do have such a young and inexperienced wide receiver core. So I can see where he's coming from, absolutely. And then the guy above him, 4,120 yards, 39 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 435 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, All-Pro, 14-3 record, MVP. And that's the optimism that I love. Let's ride. Let's do it. I want to see this season happen more than you know. Oh, this would be so much fun to watch, and I'd be the most annoying person on the planet if this was real, if this happened. And there's a couple guys in here that have some ridiculous answers, but this could happen. It's not going to happen, but of all things that can happen in the universe, it's not the most unlikely thing. Later on, we got Grant, who said breaks every single season quarterback record. That's kind of the blind optimism that I love, but, exists a lot in the Panthers fandom. And then Panther 15 says 2,985 yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 640 rushing yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns with an 11-6 record. That's such a good, modest season with such a great record, and those rushing stats are unreal, which I don't blame him. In the final 8 weeks of the season, Bryce Young had 5 rushing touchdowns. So, over 18 games, 7 seems pretty modest. I had it lower than that myself. So, if he could do these numbers, if we could have that record, I'd be the happiest Panthers fan. This guy, Tedder McMillan, says every touchdown yard is going to T-Mac, and it just might happen. It just might. And then this was later on. This wasn't even a reply to my post, just someone felt like joining in on the fun. Bryce Young, 2025-2026. Regular stats, passing touchdowns, 5,124 yards, passing touchdowns, 315, rushing yards, 3,570, and the rushing touchdowns, 125. And the reply to that says, worst take I have ever seen. He easily gets 50 more passing touchdowns and 1K more yards. Shake my head, man. And, shake my head, man, indeed, because obviously he's going to break those totals. Come on. He's the GOAT. This is Bryce Young. So that is the Carolina Panthers so far this offseason. Some of the big things that I didn't mention and some things that I haven't really seen anything about. The safeties. Trevor Moehrig hasn't really had anything come out bad about him, which is good. But he also hasn't had anything good come out about him, which is bad. So we'll take it, I guess. We're right in the middle. That's really going to be a regular season wait and see type of thing. But other than that, you don't hear much. I mean, I've seen a lot of highlights of Lathan Ransom. He looks awesome. He looks like he's going to be a really good player. I think we got a steal there in the draft. But other than that, Damani Richardson, I've heard nothing about. Chow Smith-Wade, I've heard he's been playing really well, so we're going to hope for breakout from him. But other than that, it's been, quiet. It's been quiet. But that wide receiver room looks good. Bryce looks good. The O-line is the exact same as it was last year. The tight ends, Jatavion Sanders, has lost 15 pounds and has gained muscle. So he cut and then started working out more. He looks like a new beast. Same animal, new beast, which is awesome. And if he can be, that tight end one for us this year, really surpass Tommy Tremble, then sky's the limit for him. I'm super excited. Only thing's the kicker. And we'll see. It's something that killed us in the past, and it's very much so something that could kill us in the future. Now, the jersey's not going to make as much sense for the rest of these, but, Toronto sports time. And I'm sorry to anyone who doesn't care so much for Toronto sports. Too bad, because this is the Curtis Collings presents the Sports Hour, not just the Sports Hour. This is my Sports Hour. And so for my Sports Hour, we're talking about the Blue Jays, and then later on we'll talk a little bit about the Raps and a little bit about the Maple Leafs. But for now, the Blue Jays, who... I'm smiling. I didn't think I'd be smiling. Last year, at this time, frowns, anger, horribleness. We were so bad. We are on the level of teams like the Rockies. Not the White Sox. They were historically bad. And not the Rockies this year. Again, historically bad. But the Rockies last year. We were neck and neck with them. This year, we're neck and neck with the Dodgers. that feels so good. That's such a weird feeling because since maybe 2021, we haven't really been that special of a team. Uh, it's been tough lately for Blue Jays fans. I mean, especially after last year. I think coming into this year, we were projected to be one of the worst teams in the American League East. I mean, the hype that the teams had going into this year, the Red Sox picking up their new additions in Bregman and other pieces, which we're seeing go off for them now, scarily enough. The Yankees, of course, literally just lost the World Series, haha, but made it to the World Series. The Rays, who are always scary, and the Orioles, who had just finished first in the American League East, either 2 years prior or that year. They were very good. This year, not very good. Yes, very happy about that. Rays also kind of mid this year. Did recently shut down Shane McClanahan, or however you say his name, which sucks because he's a super talented pitcher. Could be a Cy Young winner. Injured. And I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. I'm saying that because I think he's a great talent. But it does sound bad. Regardless, I do feel bad. They had to shut him down. They've had a lot of injury woes and stuff going on. And then our Blue Jays, who are in first, have been in first for so long now, and it feels so special. And as a Blue Jays fan, I'm actually proud to be a Blue Jays fan. And if you asked me in December, I wasn't a Blue Jays fan. I didn't like the team anymore. I was done. If you asked me in February, I was mad at the Blue Jays. I didn't want to cheer for them. And then we re-signed Vladdy, and I was like, okay, I'll give them a chance. And then in May, we were like 500. And I was like, okay, whatever. Lost season again. I'll go to games cheap tickets. But no. It was around the time we played the Boston Red Sox, and I saw a game live where we went down 6-0 and then came back to win at 7-6. And it was kind of there when momentum shifted and the team started winning and winning and winning and winning and winning, and now we're 69-50. Wild to me. I never would have predicted this. If you told me in April we'd be in first, I'd call you a liar. I really would have, because no way. As well, in April, if you told me that we would go into Los Angeles with a better record than the Dodgers, I would have not believed you again. And if you had told me that if we had gone into LA and beat them 1 of 3, I also would have been like, yeah, that's good. But now, I'm like, I wish we could have won more games against the Dodgers. They came at us for those 2 first games. But that last game, was that fun or what? I mean, should not have been that close, and it should not have been that scary. But fun? Yes, absolutely. Just back and forth with the runs all the way until the top of the 9th when it was tied 4-4 apiece. Ernie Clement. My favorite player currently on the Blue Jays. I love him. He doesn't have a picture on StatMuse. Shout out StatMuse for the player portraits. So I had to go with Addison Barger instead, who was fantastic. But a 395-foot home run to center, left center, puts us up 5-4. And then we're in the bottom of the 9th with Hoffman in, our closer, who gets 1 out at some point. It's not the important part. He loaded the bases with 1 out. And loaded the bases. The batter that was up was Shohei Ohtani, who is Asian baseball Jesus. And I was shitting bricks. I was terrified. I will not lie to you. I was absolutely... I mean, my dad can vouch. I texted him. I said, well, game's over. It was fun while it lasted, but we have lost again. 3 straight to the Dodgers. And then the Jays decided, well, Hoffman, you're done. Get out of here. We're putting in a rookie pitcher, a rookie lefty, which is smart. Lefty on lefty for Shohei. By the name of Fluharty. God, I cannot say his name right. I feel really bad because he was terrific. Who just comes in and throws some of the nastiest pitches I've ever seen before. Just disgusting sliders, sweepers, whatever you want to call them, and strikes out Shohei Ohtani. Makes him look silly, in fact. Which is just... I yelled. I was watching the game alone with just me and my cat, and when Shohei Ohtani struck out, I screamed in joy and relief, and I scared the Jesus out of my cat. I'm sorry, Meatloaf. If you ever see this, I might show this to you, so you really know I'm sorry, because I felt horrible. But that was a special strikeout. So 2 outs, bases are still loaded, and another Hall of Famer decides to come up. The 2018 World Series winner, Mookie Betts. Also the 2020 World Series winner and the 2020... Did they win again? 3-time World Series winner, Mookie Betts. We'll call him that. And if I'm wrong, flame me. I deserve it. A future Hall of Famer comes up, and he's a righty, and we have a lefty pitcher in, so I'm already scared. And he takes care of business. And he wins the game on a ground out. Barger picks it up, throws over to second, game over, we win. Ernie Clement, game-winning home run, and Flaherty comes in, wins it. I mean, it's a speechless feeling, and if we had won this series 2 games, if we had won 2 games out of 3, I would be over the moon. I'd say, if that's the World Series, I got hope for this Blue Jays team. But right now, I think if we make the World Series, and the Dodgers do too, they beat us because of, what I just saw, which sucks. Because that was really exciting stuff. That was really good stuff from the Blue Jays in that final game, other than Hoffman, who really wanted us to lose that game. But we got a series against the Cubbies coming up, which I quite like the Cubs. I like what they got going on, which scares me because they could beat us. It's another really, really tough series to go from the Dodgers to the Cubs, which is going to be tonight, 7:07 p.m. Be ready for it. This is Tuesday, August 12th, of course. The 76 and 50 Cubs are facing off against the 69 and 50 Blue Jays. Blue Jays looking for win number 70 on the season, and I think they can do it. I think these are going to be some really high-scoring games. Of course, we are going to be playing in Toronto, I want to say. Doing the research. We are in Toronto. Sorry about the clap. That might have been really loud. But we're in Toronto for the game, so expect some high runs. Of course, if it's a windy Wrigley day, of course, balls fly out of that field too. But, the Rogers Center has had some real high-scoring games, so I really think that it's going to be an exciting game. I'm probably going to be watching. You should too. Tune in. Now, finishing off, we got 2 teams that are in the dead of the offseason. The Toronto Raptors and then the team we'll talk about later. And the team now will get their own dedicated day later this week. The Toronto Raptors, a team that resembled a G League team last year, which is too bad because I quite liked them. And they were really fun to watch, but wow, they were bad. They were really bad. But this year, they might be good. They won't be great, if we're going to be honest with each other. And we got to do that from time to time. We can't lie to each other forever. They're not going to be great. They're going to be good, though. I really think they're going to be, mid to good. If last year we were bad to mid, we weren't bad. Teams like the Charlotte Hornets were bad. And the Wizards were bad. We were bad. We were bad. But we were mid. Mid to bad. The Bulls are mid. We were bad. The Wizards were bad. So that's how I would describe it. This year, we could be good. The Bulls, still mid. Now we're good. That's where I think we'll be. There's a real chance we could be a 6th seed this year. But we probably won't be. We'll probably be in that play-in again, and I think we'll win. I think that the Raptors are going to be one of the top 8 teams in the league this next year. Not league, in the East. League would be insane, but the Western Conference, I think the Western Conference still has 12 teams that might be better than the Raptors. Maybe 11 or 10, but that's just how deep the West is. Teams like the San Antonio Spurs, who I quite like and I think look amazing, are in a similar position to the Raptors where they might be fighting for that 6, 7, 8 seed. That's how good the NBA is. It needs to expand. It needs to thin out its rosters more because it's too good. I think the league is at too safe of a point, and everyone keeps talking about, we need changes to the league. We need less games. No, we need more teams. We need more variety. The NHL has expanded to 32 teams. NFL's been at 32 teams forever now. Why can't basketball? Basketball is also under a 6-division system. Expand that to 32 teams. Make it 8 divisions instead. I think that just spices up the league a bit more, makes things more interesting, entertaining. Maybe helps players. I can't. I'm in a bedroom. I can't vouch for any of the players. And we only got 5 minutes left in our sports hour. So we'll talk a little bit about this Toronto Maple Leafs team, but we won't talk about the elephant in the room. That will be probably tomorrow, because there's not much going on in the world of sports. Tomorrow is going to be a very big Blue Jay and probably Leaf Day, and then we'll talk a bit about Panthers and, of course, throw in some Raptors mention, but the Leafs. The elephants in the room, of course, being that double M and trade that happened and contract that was signed. We'll talk about that later. For now, I want to talk to you Leaf fans about expectations and optimism. We're not going to be the top team in the Atlantic again. No way. I don't see it. Not with the current roster. Not without the offensive firepower that literally one player was able to possess. I think the team's going to change the way it plays. It's going to change stylistically, which is good because we need it. We need it bad in the playoffs especially. And I think Craig Berube sticking around for another season, perfect fit, perfect for what we need, regardless. I like this team. I do. I really do. And I think it might honestly be better for us if we finish 3rd in the Atlantic, 2nd maybe, or a wild card. And I'm good with that because I think it's something that this team needs, especially in the playoffs, because everything that's been happening isn't working. So, something does have to give, obviously. Of course, Matthews hoping for good health this year. Nylander hoping for a repeat of what he did last year. Real quick, let's just go over what we think the lines could be. I think that first line is going to be Nyes, Matthews, and who knows? I personally would like to see a guy like Maselli given that opportunity, but of course we'll see after training camps and preseason if he's actually that good. But I think he can be. And then that second line, I think it's going to be John Tavares, who re-signed a very, very team-friendly contract. William Nylander still. Then you could plug anyone like Max Domi up in that role. Easton Cowan, but I don't think he's going to be that good yet. And then that leaves the third line for guys like Easton Cowan and Waugh, who we picked up, and Scott Lawton. I think that's a solid third line, and then throw whoever on that fourth line you want. Doesn't matter. You got Kampf, you got Yarncrook. I think Nick Robertson is still here. Maybe he's gone. Doesn't matter. Fourth line. And then that defense, unchanged from last year, which makes me happy, other than Morgan Riley sticking around. I would take a bag of pucks for him, because I think he is more of a liability than a help. That concludes my TED Talk. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. And that does conclude the first Sports Hour with Curtis Collings, a.k.a. Curtis Collings Presents the Sports Hour. Whoever it is, watch this. I want to thank you. And then, of course, I want to thank my brother. I want to thank my dad, making this possible. Motivation, resources, the room, the Wi-Fi. It's all things that make this a reality. So thank you. I do want to thank myself for actually doing this and committing to it. And we're going to see you tomorrow. Dakota Joshua. Good mention. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll have more fun talking about the Leafs. And we'll just have more fun in general because it doesn't get much better than that.